Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the very wonderful class. We are speaking about sense objects. I would just like to know that what is the difference between Tyag and Vairagya?
Tyag and Vairag.
Vairag.
Well, that's in the 18th chapter. Arjuna asked Krishna, what is Tyag? So Tyag, Krishna answers Arjuna. He says Tyag means not to be attached to the fruit. We perform activities materially motivated because we want to get the result. We work for the salary, right? We cook for the food that we can eat, right? Devotees, he's cooking but for Krishna and he's taking prasad. So Tyag means to perform activities without a lusty attitude towards the fruit. There will be some result, but let me offer that to Krishna. So also in the same point, Krishna, Arjuna asks, what is sannyas? And we explained this 100 times. Sannyas means actually to perform activities without material motivation. That means not because of some material impetus, but because of seva bhav. So that the result of both these things is vairag, jnana and vairag. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayodita Jnanati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahoitikam. 2nd chapter of Bhagavatam. So if you are not materially pushed in your activities, you're doing it in the service of Guru, service of Krishna. So that means sannyas. And if you're performing the activities without a desire for the fruit, so it's two sides, right? Why are you doing it and what are you going to get? Cause and effect. So if you're free from material motivation in those two things, then that's vairag, because you're doing it for Krishna. So Vasudeva Bhagavati means those that perform bhakti to Vasudeva, the all-pervading Supreme Lord, causelessly, automatically, they develop jnana. That means realization of Krishna in this context, and vairag, detachment from material motivation and material goals. So vairag means that. Detachment from material entanglement, desire and desiring the result. Yes?
I have a question connected to the answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Prabhu, you just that sannyas means doing activities without expecting results, or without being attached to the result.
No, that's tyag. Sannyas means without material motivation.
Without material motivation.
That means self-aggrandizement, some satisfaction of my own desire. Sannyasi, he carries the danda, and it means I'll do every action of my word, thought, mind for the service of Krishna. So that's not material motivation. So on one side, that's a negative definition. You're giving up material motivation, but you have to have some motivation. So you're doing a sannyasi, or a spiritual person is automatically a sannyasi because he's acting for Guru and Krishna and sadhu and bhakta.
Sure. So my question is there somewhere where we get also what type of work we should do? Because you said sannyasis do something but without material motivation. Tyag also means doing something without getting attached to the results. But is there somewhere where we get information of what work we should do or what we should not?
Well, from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, we should always That's tadvidi pradipashnena pariprashnena sevaya. We can ask our guru, sadhu, and then we should follow that instruction, sevaya. So, yes, it's good to ask experienced devotee, but we can look to our own self. What are my propensities? So Prabhupada says, if you have particular, say, like, if you like to perform music, then do that, learn ragas and perform kirtan. If you like to be a cook, then do that for Krishna. If you like to make business, then collect funds for spreading of Krishna consciousness. You understand? So it's not that we have to like artificially perform activities. This is the whole point here. That rather we should look to ourselves. What am I good at? Let me do that for Krishna. Because if we do what we're naturally comfortable with, then we'll be able to do it happily and without mental and physical strain. You understand? And then we'll be able to do it steadily and a whole lifetime. You understand? So, like that. And then, you know, like even there in the end of teachings of Lord Rishabdev, he says, Guru Nyasyat, Pita Nyasyat, that you can be married, you can be a leader of society, you can have children, but you should train and be a guru to all your dependents. So everyone in Lord Chaitanya's movement, he says, Amara Agyaya Guru Tara Eidesh. On my order become guru, spread Krishna consciousness. So that is the supreme work. You understand? So yes, we have to perform our material duties, but we should spread Krishna consciousness. And then Lord Chaitanya said, Bharate Bhumi, Manushya Janma, what is that verse? Para Upaka. Now you're born in India, then don't try to become, American, especially now, they're penniless, the economy is useless. Only the Chinese are working in the whole world. All the Americans are, But the point is that take to Krishna consciousness and spread Krishna consciousness and do good to the world in that way. You understand? Prabhupada says one minute, right at the end, on his end of his manifest Leela, Prabhupada said, in Mayapur, it was 1977, I always remember, Prabhupada says, is not very healthy at this point, so he's speaking slowly with effort. He says, it's not necessary for you to all do what I did, travel all over the world and do this. He says, you just become the guru of your block. You mean like neighborhood. Become a neighborhood guru. Spread Krishna consciousness just to the people you meet. This is what Lord Chaitanya said. Whomever you meet, wherever you go, just if they're suitable, tell them to chant. Right? Like one person asked in the Bhagavatam class 10 days ago or so, he asked me, I've got a Muslim friend. Right? What shall I do? And they're interested. So actually I told them, tell them to be good Muslims, but chant. So there's actually a story Prabhupada tells in one lecture. Prabhupada says, we should just go to people and say, look, you're a very learned man, very intelligent, capable. You're adored by your wife and children. Everyone knows you're a wonderful, learned, intelligent person. But forget everything that you know. Forget all that. And I have just one request. You chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And just take some flower and offer to the lotus feet of Gaurnitai. So really that is our work. That is our prime work as devotees. Yeah.
Thank you. You articulate.
I like your hat. It's very nice hat.
I wore it just for you.
Really?
No, you articulated very nicely. In the verse, it seems that there is a kind of contradiction. We are speaking of Seva Bhav. However, in the verse it says it's better to perform one's duties imperfectly than another's perfectly.
Yeah.
So, in devotional service, isn't it our desire to serve Lord Krishna as perfectly as possible? And if my service of making kachoris is very wonderful and they taste delicious, but my duty is to make cabinets, and every cabinet, the doors are always askew and they don't close properly, but that is my duty, so I have to do it, even though it's done imperfectly. So is there
Well,
some...
Krishna tells Arjuna, he says, look, Arjuna, without thinking honor, dishonor, fame, infamy, gain or loss, just perform your duty. He tells him to fight later on in the Gita. So this is the point. The devotee, he performs according to the order of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And if he doesn't perform that perfectly, it's the endeavor is the perfection. You understand? So you're making a kind of artificial case. If you make nice kachoris, do that also and give them to your friends, and then improve your cabinet making skills. With a full belly of kachoris.
Okay.
So the point is, use your propensity. Use your propensity as your main business. But of course, if you want to make kachoris, you can bring them next week, no problem. We'll all enjoy it. But don't make them faultily. We don't like with too much salt. So the point is that we just perform this is nice karma bhakti yoga. You just perform your activity as best you can. Because Krishna later on he says all endeavors are covered with some kind of fault, right? Isn't it? Because that's the nature of the material world, right? When I was pujari, I used to be full-time pujari here, and I was always thinking I'm going to chant every mantra nicely, I'm going to do every part of the puja perfectly. But there was always some, oh my God, oh I shouldn't do that. And there's always some slight thing. But we do our best, that's all, right? And that is the perfection. Yeah.
Prabhu, when we are doing some service and somebody praises you for that service and you become proud, so how to then come back to the point
You
of
don't
humility?
necessarily have to become proud. So
But I
if
do.
one does become proud, well, you should be proud that I'm doing good service. You can be proud in that way. So a devotee is proud to be a devotee, but it's not false pride. It's not thinking I'm the doer. You see, if we're able to do something like Arjuna, he's fighting for Krishna. He's giving credit to Krishna. Mother Queen Kunti, in the beginning of Bhagavatam, she's saying, we've achieved all this success by your grace, Krishna. So a devotee doesn't think I'm the doer. Thinks by the grace of Krishna, I'm able to do some service. By the grace of Guru. So in this way, if somebody says you're doing good service, then you can feel satisfied. But you should, within your heart and soul, you should think, This is the grace of Krishna. You understand? Huh? Is that right?
I can approve of that. If someone says that I am doing a good service, then you should think, thank you very much, but now I must approve. And
Yeah. Well, you see, a devotee he's proud but not vain in that sense. He's proud he's self-satisfied and proud to be a devotee. Right? A devotee doesn't want to hide the fact that he's devotee. So he identifies in that sense with being a devotee. But he's not falsely proud, thinking, and false pride means I'm the doer. Ahankara. And what is that? Ahankara, iti, Bibuddha. Think I'm the doer. The devotee knows that I'm able to do this and that by the grace of Krishna. You see, the materialist is thinking, all the ideas that pop into my head, all the things that I do, it's because of me. Right? But the devotee knows that the Supreme, everything is resting on the Supreme Lord. Is in realization of that fact. So is happy in doing nice service, but is realizing this is your grace, Krishna. You see? So it's a different state of realization and consciousness. So if you meditate that everything is done under the grace of Krishna, then you'll not become falsely proud. But you can feel great satisfaction. You dress the deity nicely and the deity looks nice and you feel, you can turn to your friend and say, look, doesn't Krishna look beautiful?
pride exists in the spiritual world also.
Huh?
Pride exists in the spiritual
Yeah.
world, so therefore it's a manifestation.
So it's a matter of definition. False pride, we don't want. But we recognize that everything is dependent on Krishna. And a devotee gives credit to Krishna out of bhav, you see. The materialist gives himself all credit. You see.
One way to know that your service is very expertly performed is when Guru gives you a mission to perform and it's done so nicely that he actually stops what he's doing and comes to you to thank you for performing such a nice service.
Prabhu said how not to do anything for sense enjoyment, and then you explained the karmi's life. That is one extreme, but as practicing devotees, theoretically we also know that we are not doing this for enjoyment, the seva bhav. But in the initial stage you may not have a relationship with Krishna or conscious understanding that everything is to satisfy Krishna. So the bottom line of spiritual endeavor is the blissful experience in spiritual life. So
How do you mean the bottom line?
the motivating force. So
Well, that's what I was saying in the class, that we're not motivated by enjoyment. It's a nectar of devotion, Daruka. He was once fanning Krishna and he was feeling such bliss, his hand was starting to shake. So he cursed, will this bliss go away because it's interfering with my service? So this is the whole point I was trying to get across. The devotee is not motivated by his personal enjoyment. He wants to satisfy the devotees and the Supreme Lord.
that is a very perfected attitude, isn't it?
Yes.
But initial stages of a devotee's life is whatever attracts, gives him a happy experience,
Yes,
he wants
that's
to
true.
continue that.
Yeah.
Like you said, steadiness in devotional life is very important because he is experiencing the bliss, he wants to continue doing it.
Yes, but that's why he should associate and hear from sadhu. And then this initial motivation to avoid material suffering and enjoy spiritually, this will be transformed, it will become purified, you see. So initially, yes, you're right. We want to get free of material suffering, we want to enjoy transcendental bliss. But if we associate with pure devotees and we hear from pure devotees, then these initial material motivations, they become implicated, you see. This is the material contamination. And then Seva Bhav comes through. I want to satisfy Krishna. And that becomes the source of real bliss. But it doesn't become the motivation. You see, the beginning of Bhagavatam, again, all these principles are illustrated. Narada Muni, he associated with the Bhaktivedantas. His mother died, so he went to the north and he was meditating. And so he used to sit in the evening and meditate upon Vishnu. And no doubt he was feeling bliss. But then one evening, Vishnu actually appeared. Instead of Manasa Murti within the mind, he felt the Supreme Lord himself appeared. And then Narada Muni became overwhelmed in great bliss. And then the Supreme Lord disappeared, and he sat down again. He tried to conjure up the Supreme Lord again, and then he heard a voice and said, "I've appeared like this to you now, to encourage you. But those that are not perfectly cannot attain my darshan. But out of my mercy I have appeared to you, so that now you will simply meditate upon me. And this will purify you." So often in the beginning stages of bhakti, and this is also Parikshit Maharaj, right? He was within the womb, Ashvatthama was trying to kill, and Krishna appeared within the womb and protected, and even in the child's body, Parikshit Maharaj could see the Supreme Lord. So Parikshit means examiner. So he was always fixed on this wonderful personality he saw. And he used to examine, "Are you that person I saw?" So his mind was fixed in that way. So in the beginning, yes, Dhruva Maharaj was feeling great bliss, but then Krishna says, if you really want to experience my association, you have to overcome all this attachment to enjoyment, whether spiritual or material. And that is by you fixing your consciousness. Krishna says in the Gita, "Manmana bhavaman bhakta," fix your consciousness on me in a devotional manner. Majjaji, worship me, offer obeisances to me. So, by hearing Shastra from realized devotee, by studying the words of the great acharyas, we understand, we gain sambandha jnana, and then we realize, yes, and this knowledge itself is so potent that it will purify us of this motivation, you see. So therefore, Shravanam Kirtanam, we should hear. Bhakti is, practically speaking, the path of hearing. The more we hear the Shastra, the more we hear from sadhu, from acharya, then the more we awaken the natural seva bhav within ourselves. But at the beginning, yes, many people, they want to escape Maya Shakti, they want to escape suffering, they want to enjoy bliss. But if you don't get proper instruction in Siddhanta, that mentality is an obstacle. Because Rupa Goswami said the Bhakti Lata, you water it by hearing and chanting. But you want to be very careful that you're taking out the weeds. So the weeds are this: self-motivation, self-aggrandizement, like this. The Bhakti Lata Bij is one, but there are many anarthas. Like, I want to be known as a great devotee, I want liberation, I want fame and fortune, I want a big samadhi when I die. So we might, yeah, I want people to respect me. So if we meditate on these things when we're chanting, You see, this is the water, then we're watering that weed. So if we're chanting, I'm not saying this is the case for your good self, but if we're chanting and we think, oh, I'm going to get bliss, I'm going to get bliss, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, you'll never get bliss. But if you think, by chanting, I'll please Krishna, I'll please Guru, then you're on the path to getting bliss. Because we're performing yajna. We're chanting not for us, but for Krishna. We're cooking not for us, but for Krishna. So we're not performing bhakti, shravanam, kirtanam, vishnu smaranam, para, sevanam, archanam. We're not performing all these things for us. In the beginning, yes, we may be motivated, but we really want to do that for Krishna. That is the basic principle of prem, right? You do it for the other, not yourself. You see the point? So by studying Shastra, Guru, Sadhu, then you get the right idea. And so you should study Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. You should associate. There's a story about some man is cutting a log, and somebody comes along and he says, you're going very slowly because the saw is blunt. You should stop and sharpen it. But the person says, I don't have the time to stop and sharpen it because it is blunt. Do you see the point? So we might think, oh, I'm too busy to go to Gita class and Bhagavatam class to hear lectures of Prabhupada. Huh? I'm too busy with my service and all these other duties. Of course you're coming to class, so you're not of this mentality. So then, you see, by hearing Siddhanta, by hearing Shastra, Guru, then this is sharpening the sword. And if we sharpen the sword, not saw, then we can easily cut ourselves free. So the first duty of the neophyte is to get the Siddhanta, to get the right idea. What is bhakti? Therefore, Prabhupada is, and this whole discussion, the Gita, is giving Arjuna the right idea. You're self-motivated, Arjuna. You don't want to fight because that's what suits you. But this is your illusion. Huh? So yes, in the beginning we may think, oh, Krishna consciousness is so nice, and we may feel bliss. That's the Narada Muni introductory package that Krishna gives us. You know, we come to the temple, so nice, oh, it's nice here, the Mahaprasad, the chanting is good, and oh, let's make some sandalwood paste for Krishna. This is really enjoyable. So Krishna is giving us bliss. But then, you see, the gopis, they were thinking at the beginning of the Ras Leela, they were thinking, look, we're enjoying with Krishna, we're the greatest women in the universe, even the demigods' wives, they can't join the Ras Leela. Krishna disappeared, right? He disappeared. And there they go, where's Krishna? So if we become proud or motivated for it ourselves and this and that, Krishna will disappear. But at the beginning he will encourage us, he will give us, you're on the right path. But then we should understand what is the actual path of perfection. And the underlying mood is this, that we are just doing this for satisfaction of Guru and Krishna and the Bhakta Sangha. You see? And that is perfection. And that is the transcendental world. Everybody is like that. Nobody is, in the material, everyone is selfish, right? Me, mine, what I want. And then they form groups and they fight and they split up, war and sense enjoyment. The devotee is not motivated like that. He's attained vairag because he's only wanting to satisfy Krishna. Oh, okay, we'll finish on this point. Is it clear? Yeah, it's all very clear, right? Prabhupada made everything very clear. Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita ki.